is an author and journalist, and he joins us from Washington, D.C. Welcome to the programme. Tell us, what does the US want to achieve concretely from these talks that was not achieved in the previous video message that President Putin and Biden have held?
As you say, Maria, the two presidents spoke with each other, but they did not resolve the sense of tension, which has just been rising during this entire year that Joe Biden has been president. And so, according to officials of the Biden administration, the first thing they demand is that Russia reduce the number of troops that it moved toward the border with Ukraine. There is a continuing accusation by the U.S. government that Putin wants to restore the old sphere of influence, the old Soviet Union, in effect. That nation broke apart back in 1991, and Putin has said that was the worst thing for Russia. And so America thinks that's what Putin is out to do. America says it'll take a hard line. If Russian troops cross into Ukraine, there will be the toughest economic and financial sanctions ever. That's the message being delivered in Geneva, Switzerland. On Sunday evening, there was a dinner between two senior officials, U.S. and Russian. Talks will continue on Monday, Maria.
Okay, so what are America's options exactly? You said America will deliver, a hardline sanctions, but is that where it stops? Or will there possibly be appetite to send troops to that border with Ukraine and Russia?
Well, you can imagine there's no appetite among the American people to send troops. But on the other hand, America does have troops in Europe, in the NATO alliance countries. So it is possible in a joint action with NATO to send more military aid to Ukraine, to move troops, say, from Germany going eastward. Russia would complain bitterly. And so the U.S. says it wants to avoid that sense of crisis. But Secretary of State Antony Blinken added that the U.S. will not be acting alone. It'll be with the NATO alliance, with the European Union, and with the Group of Seven. And so that's the weight that the Americans are bringing to these talks getting underway in Switzerland.
And, we're hearing that, the Kremlin insists NATO must never grant membership to an ex-Soviet Ukraine, which is, of course, pushing, we believe, to join the military alliance. Could there be common ground found around this point, or compromise?
Well, former communist countries have become members of the Western NATO alliance, but the Russians are very sensitive about Ukraine, in part because there are so many ethnic Russians in Ukraine. And so, indeed, Putin said that had better not happen. And actually, President Joe Biden has said that's not his intention. He doesn't want Ukraine to be in NATO, but he wants to protect Ukrainian freedoms. We'll have to see to what extent the U.S. and its allies are really committed to that.
Absolutely. The world is watching these talks between the US and Russia this week. Thank you so much for your time and your analysis. Dan Raviv, author and journalist, joining us from Washington, D.C. Appreciate it.